president of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union, and this is our Empowering the Iowa Girl. We are here in Newell-Fonda with Coach Jungers. So we're going to talk to Coach Jungers today about coaching basketball and a lot of other hats he wears here within the district. So, Coach, thank you for joining us, and describe your role today here at Newell-Fonda.
Yeah, today I'm a preschool through 8th grade administrator, so I'm a principal. I also coach basketball, as you already mentioned, and basically just kind of dealing with all the kids.
Absolutely. And describe growing up in Sheldon, Iowa. You're native of Sheldon, Iowa. What was that experience like?
Yeah, I grew up on a farm about 3.5 miles south of Sheldon, and great experience. Taught me work ethic, discipline. We raised livestock and grain crops, and so we understand the whole cycle of farming, baling hay in the summer, and doing all the stuff that you had to do to make it work.
School-based activities participate in Sheldon when you're in high school or junior high?
Well, because we were obligated to the farm spring and fall and summer, basically me and my twin brother, we played basketball. That was the only opportunity we really had, because we really needed the help on the farm those other seasons. So we took advantage of that.
Who were some role models or heroes you looked up to growing up in Sheldon? And it could be any aspect, but who were some of those individuals?
The Brands brothers. My brother and I, we were in middle school as they were making their name to fame in the wrestling world. And, and we had Toby Camise, was a great basketball player when we were younger. And so there's just a lot of guys like that we looked up to. And you'll appreciate this. There's a group of us at Old Archer, Iowa, had a small little gym and a community center there, and a lot of those guys would get together and we'd play ball on Sundays at Archer.
After Sheldon High School, you attended Buena Vista, and at Buena Vista, I heard where you switched your major about your junior year. So how did what experience at BV played a role in the foundation of what you became?
Buena Vista was a great school. It was a perfect fit for what I was looking for. Graduating high school, I was thinking business ventures, maybe get a background in business. But then about my junior year, I decided that, I wanted to work with kids. I wanted to coach. I wanted to teach. And so switched my major, got into the education. And then had to go find jobs after college. But Buena Vista was a great experience.
Where did that first taste of coaching really come from?
I just felt that I could do more for others. I loved working with kids. I loved working with other people, and that just seemed very natural. And I know at Buena Vista, I worked with the rec department, did a lot of officiating games, and really enjoyed that. So I knew that there was a passion there. So when I took my first teaching job in Mercer, Missouri, I ended up coaching boys and girls softball, and coached boys basketball, was assistant coach and junior high coach, and then coached boys and girls high school and junior high track. So that was quite the experience, coaching 4 different track teams at the same time. But again, it was what I was passionate about. I liked working with kids.
When you look at your career, I think you're probably most recognized in the area as a basketball coach. But you softball state championship, you coached volleyball recently. Obviously, your track experience at Mercer and that. What about coaching transcends all the different sports? Is there just a foundation of coaching that, whether it's basketball, whether it's volleyball, it's the same philosophy?
Well, I'm not going to take much credit for volleyball. I mean, I was a junior high coach many years ago, but helped out this year. And, just helping kids understand and meet their full potential, providing the structures in place to help them understand, the skills, the knowledges of the different games. So those things I've always been passionate about, and it just kind of was a natural fit there. Softball, same thing, understanding the different aspects of the game. I never played softball or baseball, so I had to learn how to pitch, I had to learn how to hit, I had to learn all those things, because if you don't learn to do it yourself, it's pretty tough to teach and coach it. So again, those were things that I was always passionate about, and I've been very blessed over the years. NewellFonda has been a great fit for me and my family, and we've had a lot of success, but a lot of kids that just fell in love with the game, and And that's what makes it fun, when you have a group of people very passionate about the same things, working together to reach goals.
Those early years of coaching, is there a lesson or two, a takeaway early on, maybe that first year in Mercer, or maybe even Newell-Fonda, like, oh my gosh, what was I thinking? Or that a veteran coach said, hey, coach, you might want to think about how you do it. What are some of those early lessons that would be some good advice to some young coaches today?
I think we all take things way too personally. I think failure is a part of everything, and learning to accept that. Like, what could have I done better in that situation? What can I take ownership of? And when I started taking ownership of, instead of making excuses for, all of a sudden our teams got better. It's like, if we need to be better at not turning the ball over, get better at passing, or how you attack the basket. There's a lot of different ways to look at those things, but it was taking ownership of the variables I can control. And I think the other thing is those variables you can't control, you can't control those. So it's just putting your teams in a position to be successful. And, you can't control what the crowd's doing, the officials are doing, what the other coaches are doing. You control from within. And when you start learning and embracing those philosophies, success usually doesn't come too far behind.
Fundamentals, is that one of those variables that, whether it was track, basketball, or baseball, softball, is that a key?
Yeah, it's kind of funny you bring that up. People will ask you things, what's the toughest team to guard? A team with a lot of size, a lot of speed, and to me, the toughest teams to guard are the ones with a lot of knowledge. And when you have knowledge and a good skill set behind it, you're able to put teams in very challenging situations. So I think fundamentals, that strong focus and understanding which fundamentals to emphasize, and over time, of course, I've been doing this for many, many years now. You start understanding how much time you need to spend on the different areas to get your kids where they need to be, and I think that's a big piece of the game. Talk to the wily veterans, those guys that have been through the fires. I know when you sit in a room with coaches and they start talking shop. When I was a younger coach, I was a sponge. I still remember sitting in rooms with Paul Luce and Brian Heidi, who were extremely successful boys coaches. And when they started talking, I just started listening and taking notes, because they looked at the game in a very strategic, fundamental way. And the things I walked away with that knowledge has been very beneficial over time.
What would you consider the foundation of your program? So we're talking the basketball program here at Newell-Fonda, in coaching in general, but what would you consider the foundation of that? Where are you starting from?
My personality, I like to look at the fun things, the fun aspects, and what makes basketball fun for me. I loved pressing and transition game. It's a lot of fun. It's a fun style to play, and so building up on that foundation, and then you recognize when you have two very good teams going toe to toe, a lot of times the press and the transition game isn't what gives you the edge. The edge comes from your half-court defense and your half-court offense. So, getting the kids to buy in what their strength of the team and program is, and then developing the system that best matches those attributes. And so, I know early in the season, our offenses and defenses might be one thing, but as the season evolves and players step up and skill sets starting to emerge, I might have the team, adjust some of those variables to best match the skill sets on the floor. So just understanding that about what your kids each bring to the table.
How is development within your program? Are you looking at upper elementary, junior high, or kind of let them develop elsewhere and when they're freshman, sophomore, or how do you approach development with your program?
I think the big thing is getting kids to fall in love with the game. I think that's first, the most important thing. And I've had great parents, great youth coaches, great junior high coaches, great families that they embrace that. They don't coach just for their kid. They coach for the betterment of everybody. And so I'll talk to any parent that wants to have a conversation about, hey, what do you see with this group? And it's just a fundamental conversation. What skills do we want to emphasize? I don't care what plays they run. I don't care what defenses they want. I want the kids to fall in love with the game. And when they do, the results always speak for themselves. And I've got some great middle school coaches, and what they also bring to the table. They'll bring their own background, and they're going to have fun with it with the kids. And once they start doing that, it kind of sets the stage for future success.
How would your players describe your coaching style?
I think they would probably say there's a very intense side, and there's very detail orientated. I think sometimes they'll like shake their head a little bit like, that doesn't seem to be that big of a deal. But over the course of the season, I want them to be cognizant of those details. So I would say some of those things. I think they know that I'm very serious about their development, and but they'll also understand that there's that fun-loving side that wants them to be successful and feel that success.
And on the flip side, how would other coaches describe your coaching style?
Boy, I'm gonna have to have you probably ask them. Yeah, I can only look at things through my lens, but I know with the success over the years, I do know that we pose some challenges to other teams, and of course we embrace that. We want to be a tough matchup every time we play. So I don't know if that's fair, if that's not fair, but I'll let those guys answer that.
Coach, look at what season is this for you at Newell-Fonda?
This will be my 22nd season.
22nd season, multiple state championship appearances, 4 state titles.
Yep.
A lot of success, but is there something outside of the big trophy that when you look back on those 20-some years that you really take away about Newell-Fonda basketball?
I think the thing that I probably appreciate the most is how much the kids and community, how much support we get. Our fans are great, our kids are great, and I've been able to build up a lot of relationships and over the years. And I think the other thing is we've been afforded some opportunities through that success that maybe a lot of other kids don't get to experience. So it's very humbling at times, but on the other hand, these guys have worked hard to create these opportunities. So I'm going to always walk away thinking about how Newell-Fonda girls basketball just kind of embodies what our whole community is all about.
The role of a multi-sport, a small school, how does that play a role within your school and also within your program?
I think first and foremost, you find out what kids are passionate in. We have to share athletes regardless. Our coaches do a great job. We work together. We know once January comes around, the softball team should be hitting and pitching. They should be working on their things. I know when summer rolls around, we expect kids to be able to get in the gym and hit some volleyballs. And it's just really sharing your athletes. But, each coach needs to understand that, if a kid's passionate about speech or the play, and if they have to miss practice because there's something going on that is what they're passionate about, it's okay. It's okay. You let them know, just like if they're passionate about basketball and they want to go to a travel tournament or an AAU event, that, we work with the kids on that, because at the end of the day, it's really about the kid. It's about the student athlete.
Practice plan. How would you describe what focus do you put on a practice plan, or do you put much focus on a practice plan in your program?
Yeah, and that's one of my type A things. I'm very detail orientated. Little things. We track 3 key stats: turnovers, rebounds, and free throws, getting to the free throw line. And so, if we win 2 of those 3 battles, we win most of those games. And obviously, if we have too many turnovers for Coach Jungers' liking, we're gonna address that in practice through some drill work. What type of turnovers? Is it just not seeing the defense well? Were we rushing in a situation that probably needed us to slow down? Or so we will address those things in practice, and and we spend a lot of time just getting us better. Recognizing what each player needs. We shoot a lot of ball. We do a lot of ball handling. Probably doesn't look much different than most other teams, but we just a lot of attention to detail.
You've had the opportunity to coach some of your own kids. How, as a coach, did that change your lens? How was that experience?
For me personally, it's been a blessing. It's been awesome. I was very deliberate on setting boundaries. What happens in the gym stays in the gym. It doesn't come to the dinner table. Just like I won't bring the dinner table conversation to the gym. So we've established that. And then I think the other challenge is sometimes especially in public, I can't embrace moments that, my own kids a little bit differently because I'm in charge of the team. And I want the whole team to understand that it's still about all of us when we're in the public realm. But, of course, behind the scenes, that's when you get the Vada boys and the good jobs and that kind of stuff. But those types of moments can be a little bit challenging. But I've always deliberately separated that just so that I don't put my own children in a situation where, people get envious or maybe think, oh, little favoritism or something like that. But also I feel like my kids had to work really hard to get to create the opportunities for themselves within all the things that we've done too. So,
as a girls basketball coach here at Newell-Fonda, we talk a lot in our office about the Iowa girl and this program empowering the Iowa girl. How would you define the Iowa girl?
I think the state of Iowa in itself, the hard work ethic, leadership, compassion, empathy, but that fierce resiliency. I think those are just, embodied in the Iowa girl. And, we've been fortunate enough over the years to be in a lot of fun atmospheres, whether it was a state tournament or an opportunity to play in a big game. And those are the traits that carry teams forward and play later in the season. And so when I think about that, and I think about the girls in our own program and how, the moment doesn't get too big because they're ready for the moment. And I think that's how I would define it from my lens.
First one is leadership.
Leadership is, leading by example, and then, setting expectations for yourself that others can model, and then, going above and beyond what the normal person would do in any given situation. And I think like sports gives you a lot of practice to have leadership, whether it's getting up at 6 in the morning to lift weights or to come to open gym and get some extra shots up. That's what those things would mean to me.
Teamwork.
Teamwork. I think if you followed Newell-Fonda over the years, you'd have some leaders where you'd see some people score, but the greatest strength of our program has been the ability to emerge as a team, where people don't really care how many points someone else has. They just recognize that's what we needed on that particular day to be successful. I think teamwork is collectively coming together for a common cause and, embracing it and celebrating it. Communication, boy, in today's world is, it's so different than when I started 20 years ago. But, on the floor, I think, people today, it's pretty easy to communicate via social media or whatnot. But in a evolving situation scenario such as a game, boy, there's things happening so fast where if your team can on the same page and communicate things and be very transparent with what they're trying to convey, your opportunity for success rises to a much higher degree. And I think little things like players communicating with coaches on different variables that, if they have to miss practice because they have a test to make up or whatever that situation is, I think it's vital. It's very important.
Work ethic.
To achieve high levels of success, the work ethic does have to be there. And I think, I've been blessed at Newell-Fonda. We're a community where, that's just a day-to-day thing. We expect kids to work hard in class, work hard at weights. If you're passionate about whatever you're passionate in, you got to put the time in. And our kids are passionate about, volleyball, drill team, jazz band, speech, the play. Just give it your all and put your best foot forward, and life will be a reward to you once you go through these trials.
Accountability.
The word accountability to me is just ownership. We all make mistakes. Own it. If I fall short in a decision, I make it very known. Hey, you know what? I needed to do a better job in that situation, and And when your kids do that, they start recognizing, you know what, as long as everybody's giving their best, when a mistake does happen, just own it. We'll move on. Everybody does, and I think that's a big piece for success. You know, if you're falling short and you're not getting to weights and agilities, or you didn't put the time into shooting, you know, own that too. You know, you've got to own your passion level as well.
Parents.
I always say this: parents are very passionate about their kids. They want to see their kids succeed no matter what, and it's understanding that, you know, like it can create common ground when you recognize that, you know, sometimes a parent's emotional level might get in the way of something rational. And so when you have those conversations, you just want to just understand the common ground of it, that, you know, parents by and large want what's best for their kids, and competitive sport, it's not going to always turn out like you want it, or the kids want it, or the parents want it. But you know, I've been blessed over the years with tremendously supportive parents. They understand. They want success. They want their kids to be a part of it, and getting them to understand that, you know, it's the journey, it's the process, and it's getting opportunities you can't get in the classroom, or you can't get just, you know, hanging out in the yard, and to embrace those opportunities.
Last one for you. Culture.
Yeah, culture, very important. You know, each conversation you have with a player, the team, are you emphasizing what you expect within your culture? If you want it to be a positive culture, are you displaying positivity? If you want a hard work ethic, are you displaying that as well? So everything that you want within your program, are you modeling it? Are you creating it? And I think the big thing is putting that on paper. You know, what do you want with your culture? What are your goals with that? And what does that mean for you as a coach? And then what do you want that to look like for the people, your assistant coaches, the people within your program? I've been blessed over the years with great assistant coaches. They've bought in, they understand, and you know, it's the people within your program that create the success.